Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for another edition of If You Know, You Know, but this time it has a carnival spin. Joining now is the man, the myth, the legend, Bart. Good to see you, my brother.
It's Mardi Gras time,
It's Mardi Gras time.
Love this time. This
Absolutely.
is a Mardi Gras edition.
Come on and look at this jacket. I love it. And right now we are standing in front of Gallier Hall, one of the premier places to catch the parades on Mardi Gras Day.
Yes, I love this area right here. In fact, this is my favorite viewing spot. I have a reviewing stand right next to Gallier Hall. I love being here on St. Charles Avenue, seeing the parades go by. We're here by Lafayette Square, a great area. But of course, anywhere is a great area to catch the parades. If we have weather like we do today, then any place is great on Mardi Gras.
I completely agree.
That's the best to me.
Absolutely, and hopefully you wear something just as fun on the route like you are doing today. The crew of Freret this year, very special. The Queen designed her own float. You want to hear the story?
Yes, please.
Come on.
All right, here we go.
My name is Shannon E. Thomas, and I am Queen 14 with the crew of Freret. The first year I rode with Freret was 2019. Being the Queen is a huge responsibility. I think that this crew has done a lot for Mardi Gras, banning plastic beads. It's an amazing crew, and so I feel that that's a lot of responsibility to uphold, and I'm very excited to be sort of taking it forward. So designing my own float is something that we talked about for a long time. We, from the first year that I rode, we said, well, you know, I'm an artist, I could paint my own float, that would be an amazing thing. The whole Queen aspect came a bit later, but it kind of made sense. If I'm going to paint a float, I should ride on the float. So when I first saw the float, it was entirely white, just a blank canvas, and I had a sketch on my iPad and very little else on the front. I started with some chalk and painted in the lines, and then when I got to the sides, I had enough confidence. I said, you know, let's throw the chalk out the window and just freehand the whole thing. So there will be multiple layers on the float. So the first layer that I've done is this medium color purple, and I will add darker and lighter purples to add depth and to add nuance to the pattern. The idea of what I want my float to look like has changed 3 or 4 times over the course of since I was told I could be queen to actually being queen. And so I've thrown a bunch of ideas out the window. I've had a bunch of failed starts, but ultimately where we landed is I'm coming here from the Netherlands, and there's this history of Delft pottery that is beautiful and rich, but also stolen in a lot of ways. Delftware is something that comes from a lot of different places, and I feel like that's a bit of how Mardi Gras is. It comes from a lot of places, it represents a lot of different people, and it felt right to do that for the Mardi Gras float, to bring that in, and instead of the Delft blue, we do purple because it's Mardi Gras. I painted the sky on the top of the float because that's the background that all of my paintings have, and so as the Queen, I'm also thinking of myself as one of the paintings, as a character in the whole thing of Mardi Gras, and so yeah, I wanted myself to blend in with them. So the entire float is going to be covered in these patterns with a lot more detail than what you see here, and in these golden frames, 4 on each side, there are going to be prints of paintings that we currently have up for auction, and these are the actual sizes of the paintings. The paintings are of various Mardi Gras revelers, and each painting is a person in a mask, and the masks will be thrown from the float. The money goes to Son of a Saint. This is my first time painting a float. I have painted murals before, but nothing quite this scale. Most of the pieces I've done in the past have been very planned, down to, it feels like basically a paint by number by the time you get to it. In this one, I didn't know what the float was going to be before I got here. I didn't know the specifications of anything, and so I had to play it by ear. The masks that I've thrown in the past, these motifs are present in many of them. From start to finish, I expect to be painting the float until right before we load in. I will take every minute possible. When we ride down the parade route, the thing that I hope that people take away from the float is how it looks from up close and how it looks from far away. That's something that I take very seriously in my art. You need the thing that looks good from 10 yards and you need the thing that looks good from 10 inches. And I want people to want to get closer. I want people to want to zoom in and see more detail. I hope you all come and see me on the Queen's Float on February 7th. The theme this year is the pulse of Mardi Gras. And when it comes to this float, I think that rhythm and pattern are very closely related, and my float is covered in pattern, and our parade is made of rhythm.